Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. So I just had hip replacement surgery in Europe. So I want to talk about hip replacement surgery and leaving Canada to have it done, as well as what it's like after a couple of weeks. So let's get started. So before I had hip replacement surgery, I was still working to live the life that I wanted to live. So I was going on cruises and I was doing things, but each and every time I went on a cruise, because I put in a lot of steps on a cruise, it was getting harder and harder to do it. Everything just seemed to me that it was getting a little bit harder. And yet, even though I was bone on bone, I didn't qualify. I wasn't bad enough because I wasn't on painkillers to actually go and have hip replacement surgery done. And in Canada, it takes 3 to 5 years in order to get it done. So I looked for alternatives and I found one that I knew people that had gone to Europe and had it done in Europe. So that's what I did. I booked myself in, and within 1 month, I was in Europe. I was actually in Germany having my hip replaced. It was one of the best things I've ever done. So right now I'm just about, not quite, about 2.5 weeks out. And I feel a whole lot better. I can actually move. I'm actually getting about 5,600 plus steps in every single day. So what's recovery been like? Well, it was hard. It was hard. People have reminded me, because I am a little bit on the impatient side, that it was major surgery. I went with the anterior approach, so they did not cut the muscle, which is a bonus, but they did move the muscles out of the way, and they moved a nerve out of the way, which is still creating a little bit of numbness for me in that hip, as well as some pain. I used painkillers when I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital for about 4 days. And when I was in the hospital the first day, I thought that they would be getting me up to do at least standing, is what I'd been told, but they didn't do that. The second day I did stand and I did some walking, and I was able to go to the bathroom, which was really good, because before that they wanted me to use a bedpan, which didn't work at all for me. So I did that, and by day 4, they were having me walk stairs, which was good. And I got to walk more and more and more as each and every day went on. And I was able to actually go to the bathroom myself, walk the halls a bit at the hospital before I left. So I spent a week in Germany after surgery just to make sure there was nothing else going on. And I stopped my painkillers when I left the hospital. Made it a little bit difficult because I was in pain. But I think it was a good decision, because the last day I'd had my pain meds earlier and things were walking around on the walls and that. I thought, oh, I don't know if I think this is a good thing. I mean, it helped with pain, but a little bit too much maybe. So every day now I have been working on increasing my movement. I've been doing exercises that I found on YouTube, and I have been working to increase my movement. That means, though, that every day I'm pushing a little bit more. I'm accomplishing more, but I'm also pushing my muscles, which haven't been used for a long, long time. And when I do that, those muscles are getting a little bit angry, and so I quite often am in pain. When I was in the hospital, it took me like 4 days before I actually could lift my leg to get fully onto the bed without somebody helping me. But now that is no problem at all. And as I say, I can walk, and I do walk. I walk up hills and down hills, and it's pretty good. So that's not creating issues. I can also, as I'll show you some of the exercises I've been doing, I can also do squats, and I can lift my leg, and I can do marching, and all sorts of other exercises are working out. Because I could do that, of course, I'm pushing it to go a little bit further. And in my little bit further, I am now doing side leg raises, which I find extremely difficult, as well as front leg raises, which again are very difficult for me right now. But I do know that everything started out really difficult for me, but it got easier and easier as time went on and as I built those muscles back up. So I'm still working. I'm still working on increasing my range of motion. I'm working on building some of those muscles and getting it so that I can move and I can do what I want to do. So would I do this again? Absolutely, I would do it again. I can walk without pain now. I know that when I go back on a ship, I won't have people going, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Can I get somebody for you?" Or all this other stuff. It was so embarrassing all the time. Because as I walked down the halls on the ship, people would always want to help me because I was hurting and they knew it and they could tell. Now I can walk. I can walk. I'm using crutches, but I can also walk on my own. I think that they want me to use crutches for 6 weeks so that I start to develop good momentum and don't end up limping over time. So that has been my journey so far. And included in here will be some of the exercises that I'm doing. So we will talk about those as well. As you can see, I can lift my leg to the side, and that's not a problem. I'm now working on the next stage of that, which is laying on your side and lifting your leg outwards, upwards, which is the same exercise, but I find it a lot harder to do. So I'm getting up to 6 right now on doing that. I'm doing it 2-3 times a day, trying to get to 10. I'm not there yet, but I will get there. Because as I say, every day is getting better. Every day, the pain is changing. So I'm not having as much difficulty in sleeping or laying on one side or the other side or tossing or turning. That is definitely improving. And when I do my marching, I can get my knees fairly high, which is really good as well, because I have that range of motion now. So it is something that works for me and that I can do. The other thing that I did on the little video, and they're not really recorded very well, so I apologize for that, is that I worked on my squats, and my squats are getting better over time as well. So I am working on that as well so that I can get my squats in. I think I'm going to start to do it on a wall, which I think might be a little bit more difficult, and doing some sitting on a wall. So I'm going to do that as well, because as I say, it's a matter of build up those muscles. What I'm finding is that my knee on the side of my surgical hip is hurting as well. And when I looked up exercises for that, lo and behold, they're the same exercises I need for my hip. So together, the two of them are improving on a daily basis. So when I do my walking, I work to ensure that I'm going heel toe walking and trying to keep my body straight. As you see in the video, I don't think that I'm succeeding completely, which is another reason why you use your crutches for a little bit longer, so that you will get better and better and better at it. So that is my report for right now. I am absolutely happy that I paid to go to another country to get my hip surgery, because it was definitely well worth it. Because now I can live my life. I wasn't living my life. And if I would have continued on with what I was doing, it would have been the 5 years or so. I've talked to people and it's like, oh yeah, I know so-and-so that had it, and they were in a wheelchair before they had their surgery. I wasn't willing to go there, to go into a wheelchair, to be housebound, to not be living my life because of the pain of not having a hip that's grinding on itself. So it was definitely worth the time, the energy, and all the money that it cost to go and do this, because now I can move forward. If I would add 5 years onto my life, would I be able to do what I want to do in life? Maybe, maybe not. I also would have lost all that time. And I'm not willing to do that. So I'm very happy that I went forward with this. And hopefully you are recovering, or if you are planning to do hip replacement surgery as well, then I would definitely encourage you to do it. Know that you're going to have to work after, and it's not going to be a bed of roses, but it gets better, and it gets better and better with each and every passing day. Thanks for watching. And remember, if not now, when?